especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never...
Some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Top boxing figures are calling out Canelo Alvarez for suspected steroid use ahead of his fight with Terence Crawford. Many are alarmed by how quickly he's put on muscle, especially with his past failed drug tests. David Benavidez is also speaking out, questioning why Canelo keeps dodging a match with him if he's truly confident. He claims that 5 members of Canelo's team have tested positive for banned substances, suggesting that the whole camp, including Canelo, might be involved in doping, a claim that's...
Greatest Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does 5...
You saw De La Hoya call him out.
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about? Is are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso's like, "Fuck no, we not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You kidding me?
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit, but it's always a prize, bro. It's always, if I go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of
and I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point.
Yeah.
How much you give?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to
yeah,
to be
Eddie Reynoso's gym is facing growing criticism, with some accusing him of giving performance enhancers to the fighters under his wing. That includes Canelo Alvarez, who trains there and has twice faced drug-related accusations. People are pointing out that several fighters from Reynoso's gym have tested positive, which has led to serious concerns about what's going on behind the scenes. As Canelo gets ready for his clash with Terence Crawford,
Arrest serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up if I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not. If by 55 years old, I'm not. The only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
A lot of experts say it's nearly impossible to build big muscle naturally once you're in your 30s. Still, Canelo looks noticeably more muscular now than in the past. This transformation has raised even more eyebrows, especially because of Reynoso's gym's history with banned substances. Fans and analysts are beginning to question if Canelo's current size is really the result of hard work, or if
for a 30-year-old, right? You remember, your body grows. Men's body can grow in height and length up until you're to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's recent comments about Canelo have stirred up major discussions in the boxing community. As someone who's been around elite athletes for years, Rogan found it strange to see a man in his 30s bulking up so fast. He pointed out that it gets harder to build natural muscle as you age. Yet Canelo seems to be doing the opposite. Rogan made it clear, it's not just a hunch, it's based on science. He said gaining that much mass so quickly is nearly impossible without some kind of help. When someone with Rogan's knowledge...
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
As the Canelo versus Terence Crawford fight gets closer, talk of steroid use is heating up. Fans and analysts alike say it wouldn't surprise them at all if Canelo was using banned substances. Why? Because he's got access to the best trainers, doctors, supplements, and recovery tools that money can buy. With that kind of support and the pressure to stay on top, the urge to cut corners becomes hard to ignore. Critics believe the environment around Canelo makes it easy for him to use performance enhancers without getting caught right away.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
Floyd Mayweather has never been one to keep quiet, especially about Canelo Alvarez. He's called out the steroid issue before, saying people are too scared to bring it up. In Floyd's view, there's a clear double standard in boxing. Some fighters get a free pass, while others are closely watched. He thinks Canelo is one of those fighters who's protected by promoters, broadcasters, and fans because of his star power. Mayweather says this isn't just cheating, it's risky and damages the sport's reputation.
But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
The drama leading up to the Canelo versus Crawford fight isn't just coming from boxing insiders. Fans from both sides are trading accusations, with talk of steroids flying back and forth. Crawford's fans are suspicious of Canelo's size and strength, while Canelo's supporters are questioning Crawford's stamina and ability to compete at a higher weight. The tension got so heated that both fighters agreed to undergo full drug testing before the fight. These tests aren't just for the officials, they're also to calm the public.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random data testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately, namely Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been consistent.
Canelo Alvarez didn't always have the big, powerful frame he has now. Early on, he was smaller and quicker, fighting more like a true welterweight. But over the years, his body has changed in a big way. Today, he's not just taking on bigger opponents, he's overpowering them. This shift has sparked questions about how he managed to bulk up so much. With his age and the physical toll of boxing, many are wondering if it's all natural. While some believe it's the...
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So. So be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to fill up somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up in weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Nico Ali Walsh, the grandson of Muhammad Ali and a rising star in boxing, offered his thoughts on Crawford's prep work ahead of the Canelo fight. Walsh said Crawford isn't blindly walking into a size mismatch. Instead, he's getting ready in a smart, focused way. He's been sparring with much bigger opponents to get used to the kind of pressure and strength Canelo brings. Walsh says this isn't just gutsy, it's strategic. Great fighters don't just take risks, they prepare for them. Crawford's camp knows what they're facing.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight, but then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just the build up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing. You can see it.
Well-known boxing writer Dan Rafael explained why Crawford is stepping into this massive fight. For him, it's not about money, it's about legacy. Rafael says Crawford wants to go down in history not just as a great champion, but as someone who took on the biggest challenges. This isn't a safe fight. It's a high-risk, high-reward move. But Rafael also knows how tough this matchup is. Beating Canelo takes more than just skill, it takes near perfection. Crawford has to bring his A game in every single area, from smarts in the ring.
I think Terence Crawford is a marvelous boxer, arguably the best in the world, pound for pound. But can you hurt Canelo? If you can't hurt him, I have no doubt he can outbox him. My issue is, if you can't hurt him, what kind of a challenge can you truly pose? What do you say to that?
No, that's a great point. I mean, here's the thing. Canelo Alvarez has a historically great chin. Now, I go way back when he first came to the United States and started boxing, and he found himself on an HBO pay-per-view undercard years and years ago, fighting against the older brother of the great Miguel Cotto. His name was Jose Miguel Cotto, and he had gotten a ton of hype. He had signed with Golden Boy Promotions, and a lot of those of us in the media, and I had seen him a couple of times before that. This is my first time seeing him in person, really paying close attention, and he almost got knocked out in the first round. And I remember Stephen A., all of us looking around at Media Row going, what the heck is this all hyped about? This man can't take a shot. He's going to get drilled. He was lucky that the fight was over, that the round was over in round one, or there might have been some much more trouble. Stephen A., that was like, 16, 17 years ago. I've never seen him wobbled, rocked, physically, visibly hurt since then. He has an all-time great chin going in the ring with tremendous punchers. Terence Crawford coming up 2 weight classes, do any damage? Yeah, he's a slick boxer, and he's also a good puncher in the welterweight division, in the junior welterweight division, in the lightweight division. But even at junior middleweight, which is where Terence Crawford had his most recent fight back in August, when he moved up and he won a world title, he didn't blow the doors off. He fought a very tough, solid opponent named Israel Madrimov. He gave him a good fight. It was very close. Madrimov's people seem to think he might have even been able to edge it out. But if you can't hurt an Israel Madrimov at 154, what the heck are you going to do with Canelo Alvarez, the sturdiest guy in the world, at 168? So that aspect of it is certainly a problem. You mentioned about Charlo. Charlo was there to get his check. I know one thing about Terence Crawford. He's not going to just come to turn up to get the check. He'll at least try. And Charlo, I don't think, really tried.
Terence Crawford has a way of taking control without relying on raw power. He doesn't need to crush his opponents. He outsmarts them. Whether he's fighting right-handed or southpaw, he sets the pace and forces the other guy to adjust. This kind of control is a serious problem for punch-heavy fighters like Canelo. Sure, Canelo has size and strength, but Crawford's ability to manage distance and movement evens things out. He'll probably focus on avoiding dangerous exchanges and using Canelo's slower feet to his advantage. Crawford's slick style isn't just for show. It's a key part of his plan to stay safe and land clean shots. That unpredictability is
weight bullies. It's somebody whose style is based around being the bigger guy, being the stronger guy. But Crawford is a very cerebral, very technical boxer, and I think that's why I'd never really considered this before. But also, I didn't actually realize until I sat down properly and thought about this, just how much weight Crawford has been piling on when he gets into the ring after the weigh-in. And look, these are not numbers that are out of the ordinary, but he's obviously cutting himself down so much in camp from whatever his walking around weight is. And it must be muscle that he's taking off. And perhaps that's why he's only fighting once a year, because there will be some fat, of course there will be, but the dude is not overweight. The dude still looks pretty ripped from what I've seen when he's not in training camp. However, there's not that many photos of him with his top off when he's not actually in training camp. So it's really hard to tell what his body composition is when he's walking around at these big weights. But the fact is, his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge. Absolutely huge for a 154 pounder. Especially, it's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight.
Boxer Marcus Brown, who's seen Crawford in action at the gym, shut down any idea that Crawford is scared of Canelo's power. Brown says Crawford has been training with bigger guys for a long time, some built like heavyweights, and he's handled it with confidence. That kind of experience, Brown believes, gives Crawford an edge that many fans might not realize. He's used to dealing with strong punches and staying focused under pressure. Brown also pointed out that Crawford never loses his cool in those moments. He stays sharp and sticks to his plan. That mix...
I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because, they don't want to be biased. Yeah. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. is that something that's gonna play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused.
Yeah.
And he can't touch the target that's in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?